I always want to know what kind of curses they think they can do. Like, I'll turn you into a f***ing frog, I will.
I think they're saying that even in court, I think that girl Cat Torres really believes that she can do magic.
What the f***?
I used to think that I could turn street lights off by just like thinking about it really hard.
And you would wait long enough for the street light to turn off 6 hours later, and you're like, I f***ing did it.
All right, I got a really sad story to share, and it is about influencers, so you are gonna love it. There's a influencer from Brazil. Her name's Cat Torres, and what she did is so insanely
influential.
Influential is a good word. All right, so she is she moved to the U.S. She became this famous sort of life coach guru for women. Nice. And
women need that women empowerment help.
Yeah, they do. She's been sentenced to 8 years in prison for sex trafficking and slavery.
No way.
Yeah.
So I hope they were not women.
8 years just for that, huh?
So here's the crazy thing is, that's another thing.
Sentence 8 years here or Brazil?
Back in Brazil.
So, their jails are crazier.
So here's the crazy thing is that these stories, they go into really insane detail, but just to for this, I'm going to kind of mash them all together. So this is how she ran her little scheme. She used her influence to attract women to move to the US. So if she had admirers that were messaging her and being like, oh wow, how do I be like you or whatever, she would get them to come over to her home. She had this mansion in Austin later in her career, and she would collect all their documents, like their driver's license or passport, whatever else they had, and then she would keep it and eventually force them to work at strip clubs and be prostitutes.
No way.
And then eventually they had this rule of where if they didn't come home every day with $1,000, they weren't let into the house. And then it got raised to $3,000 per day.
And they're sex trafficked.
Yeah, they're sex trafficked. And these are just fans of hers that she convinced to move here.
So she's she lures them from women empowerment. You can do this too. Yeah. And then they'll be like, how can I be empowered? She goes, by being a hoe.
Yeah. They all thought they were coming here to study under her or be she would mentor them.
It's like NXIVM.
Is that how NXIVM did it?
Remember Allison Mack?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly how they did it.
Oh shit.
It started as a women's empowerment thing, and Keith Raniere would say I'll get you out of your head. I'll make you stop worrying about all your shit and teach you how to be a woman and shit. And Allison Mack would recruit people that way.
Is that the sex cult? And then they tattooed each other? Yep. Well, I like the matching tattoos, but then having sex and stuff all the time, unless it's on your own will, that's kind of weird.
The sad thing is, I mean, not that this makes it any worse or better, but they weren't forced into having sex with upper scale clientele. They were just making ads online for
empowerment.
just escort ads.
So it was just straight up Craigslist dudes?
Randos. Yeah.
Oh,
she would just because they would have to make $3,000 to get back in the house where all their stuff was and where they lived. If they didn't, these girls said that they would sleep on the street several times because they didn't make that amount. So she really wouldn't let them in.
So if they only made $2,000, they wouldn't get a hotel for $200 or something?
I mean, that's going to set them back a little bit, I guess.
Maybe it racks up. Maybe if they don't show up for 2 days, now they need 6,000.
Too bad they didn't have you there to mansplain to them what they should do.
I know. All smug sitting like that.
All fucking.
I'm just saying, it makes sense.
So
can't all have a hive mentality.
Well then here you go. This'll be a good indicator for you. They also believed, at least one of them was quoted as saying she believed that Cat Torres had witchcraft powers, which also prevented her from escaping.
Ooh, that's a hell of a mix.
So it's a little bit more than just oh, I need this money. It's more they thought that she was going to put a curse on them.
Wow.
So maybe, yeah, it's a little bit more susceptible. So then whenever the women would speak about not wanting to be prostitutes anymore, Kat would threaten them, saying that she'll report them to the police because it's illegal what you're doing anyway. So she would turn them in if they were to stop doing it. And then she would also intimidate them with her boyfriend's gun collection. I guess the dude was had a bunch of guns.
Check these out.
Yeah, and she would inadvertently whenever they would kind of speak up about oh, I don't want to do this anymore, I want to leave, then she would just take them to a gun range and just sort of put it in front of them in a way to non-threaten them, you know what I mean?
Oh wow.
So then, since those women were forced to cut contact with society, they were eventually like reported missing by like friends and family, because a lot of people don't know like where they ended up. And then so when investigators kind of traced them and found out that they were over there, Cat Torres made the girls record videos saying, "Hey, we're fine. Don't look for us anymore. Stop the search. We're okay." And then a detective looked into that and kind of didn't feel like it was legit. So then he eventually skirted around somehow, contacted one of the women, ended up FaceTiming them. And then I think in the FaceTime video, he could hear Kat telling them like what to say, and that that if they spoke up, then she would kick them out and stuff. So then they ended up moving in and rescuing the women. The women, in this story, the ones that I'm specifically talking about, there's 2. They were rescued. They ended up being returned back to Brazil. Cat Torres was arrested, sentenced to 8 years in a Brazilian prison. But the investigators say that there could have been up to 20 of these women cycled through or involved.
Yeah. So probably more even.
Probably more that like got away or like did it for a while and then didn't. But yeah, it's crazy. There's a lot of material on this right now because technically I think this might have happened in 2022, I think, when this whole thing came to a close, but now the sentencing is here. So 8 years doesn't sound like a lot for this.
Yeah, especially if it ruins so many people's lives.
Yeah.
Dude, Smallville chick got like 4. She's already out.
Oh yeah, the Nexium chick?
She's out. No, not the white girl.
Sorry.
Allison Mack.
That's not the Nexium chick?
No, I think you said Mexican chick. I was like, no.
I thought you said Mexican chick too.
So that's Cat Torres.
But the other guy got life in prison, the guy in charge.
Yeah, the main like weirdo dude.
She's bald?
But like this is so look how the girls that they did it to, that's them. They're so pretty. It's like so sad.
Wait, scroll all the way up. Let me see this bitch.
Huh? Scroll where?
All the way up.
That's her. That's Cat Torres.
That's the bad one?
That's a bad one. Those are the ones that she turned into like.
She's bad.
Bad. Those are the ones.
You can pimp me into slavery, baby. Come on.
Oh shit!
I think they could make $1,000.
I can do that.
4 years, bro. 4 years.
You guys aren't charging enough. That's what it
That's
is.
what I said. Anthony,
You're not
you
charging
think they
enough.
can make $1,000 a day really easy?
I can make 500 right now.
Oh, was that?
Hey, you're a little cheap, dude.
Good lord.
I cheaped out on the house.
Yeah, you should do that.
It's really sad that. Remember when we covered this story before about this guy that got kidnapped and he was held like 100 feet from his home?
Yeah.
And then that
That was
guy
gonna get a curse.
also thought it was a curse and that he couldn't leave. There's something about this fucking belief that.
Black magic stuff, bro.
Brazilian thing?
Well, I think she chooses her victims that believe.
Yeah, she definitely goes by susceptibility.
She's looking like. Yeah, I think what a perfect kind of place though to be like, oh, I'm a fucking like a life coach or whatever, right? And then you have people coming to you, and then you can kind of sort out who's the most vulnerable.
Yeah, it's like, hey, have you ever bought like some as seen on TV stuff? And it's like, yeah, I have. It's like, okay, yeah, we should talk more.
It'll probably first start off as like you talk about crystals, which is normal, girl stuff. Crystals. What are you like? I'm like I like fucking rubies or whatever, right?
Like, are you Gemini?
Yeah.
Oh, have you ever like sucked dick for money?
Yeah, and it just goes right into it. You know what I mean? I'm a Pisces. I deep throw all the time. You know, like
I'm a Pisces.
yeah.
Crazy thing too is there's a slight precursor to this where like you could tell that she probably tried the mild versions of these and then it got crazier and crazier because there's a girl who reported that she was once hired to be her like live-in assistant, and then that turned into almost like a slavery situation where she wasn't being paid anything at all.
It's an internship.
Yeah, they originally agreed to like $2,000 a month to like do these chores around the house, but then like she just kind of held her there and was making her do like everything for her. Wow. And then the crazy thing is that this girl Cat Torres kind of has her life sort of like Marie Kondo-ish, where everyone's like, wow, I want to live like that. And then when the girl came to her house, she saw that like it was a facade, like one area was like clean for shooting, but the rest of the house was fucked up. Like there was just shit everywhere, and it was dirty and it stunk.
You can tell the girl who was there, who's interning, was not a millennial. Because she had been bitching all up a storm about it. But not getting paid. Doing work for free.
Yeah.
I'm not getting fucking paid. Are you fucking kidding me?
That girl ended up getting away, and then when she saw that these two girls were missing and that they were with her, she was the one who like ended up
She pieced it together.
getting a light bulb and then tipping them off and going like, oh, I don't know if this
She
is
called the cops.
I think she did. Yeah.
I always want to know what kind of curses they think they can do. Like, I'll turn you into a fucking frog. I will, bet.
I think they're saying that even in court, she like. I think that girl Cat Torres really believes that she can do magic.
What the fuck?
Well, she's doing a big magic trick. That's pretty crazy.
You turn one ball into 3 balls, so then I'd be like, what the fuck?
I like that. For someone who thinks she does magic, she's doing such an unmagical classic pimp move.
Yeah.
Like it's super normal. Like
Takes a triangle and she taps it with a stick and then it goes in. I'd be like,
the rings that go.
I know.
Yeah.
There's like rabbits everywhere. Everywhere you go.
There's also those like sociopaths that when it's like all momentum, when they like are able to succeed at the first thing, they start believing something that isn't really there, and then they succeed again, and they're like, I am meant for this.
True.
You know what I mean? They're like, I am this person.
Cognitive bias.
I used to think that I could turn street lights off by just like thinking about it really hard.
And you would wait long enough for the street light to turn off 6 hours later, and you're like, ah, fuck
It would be like 5 a.m. and I'm like, finally.
or it's like the people who it's like they make something that looks great on the outside, but then on the inside it sucks. Like when Anthony bought his house.
So you're saying it looks great on the outside?
Yeah, it looks fine on the outside, but then when you go inside, you can tell it's all shoddy and stuff. Half baked shoddy.